This is Incorruptible Mass News for Wednesday, April 26th. This week in activism. These are things you can show up to. We hope you do. Today, Wednesday, 4/26, from 3 to 4:30, the Acton Waterwise Nature Walk. You can meet at Bruce Freeman Rail Trail 4 for a guided walk. On April 27th, from 6 to 8, is the 15th Taste of Dorchester. That's at 256 Freeport Street in Dorchester. On Saturday, April 29th, from noon to 4, the Poor People's Campaign is having their statewide meeting in Springfield. And on May 4th at 10 a.m., come down to the State House, is MassCare Lobby Day to help pass Medicare for all at the state level. And if you know of any actions that are happening, please let us know. We will announce them each week. You can find us, Incorruptible Mass, on any social media platform or email us at info@incorruptiblemass.com. And now for this week's news. In climate news, the United Nations warns in a new report that record levels of heat-trapping greenhouse gases led to a planetary scale changes on land, at sea, and in the atmosphere in 2022. The World Meteorological Organization's State of the Global Climate Report, released on Earth Day, found the years 2015 through 2022 were the 8 warmest years on record. So a group called Last Generation has repeatedly blocked roads across Germany in the past year in an effort to pressure the government to take more drastic action against climate change. And I also know the group XR, Extinction Rebellion, has been very active in Britain and in other parts of Europe. And both of these groups do really visible, creative actions that the public can see around climate change. And we also notice that when they do these, European governments react. So a group of Western European nations led by Germany and France on Monday committed to massively ramp up the production of clean energy from wind turbines in the North Sea. And the EU seeks to ramp up its response to climate crisis by increasing the cost of carbon emissions. And this includes a plan to charge polluters on Europe's carbon market for all of their emissions, and it adds shipping emissions to the market. This change is expected to cut emissions by 62% from 2005 levels by 2030. Rolling blackouts due to an electricity shortfall in South Africa have unfortunately delayed some planned closures of coal plants. A new technology designed to pull carbon from the ocean is being tested. It cleanses seawater of carbon dioxide and then returns it to the ocean so that it can suck more CO2 out of the atmosphere to slow global warming. My understanding is it turns that into like calcium carbonate, which is a solid, and then that drops to the seafloor. It's the same stuff that shells are made of. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, is preparing to announce limits on greenhouse gas emissions from power plants, trying to cut one of the main sources of U.S. air pollution by 2040. Record-shattering heat waves have hit multiple Asian countries, including India, Bangladesh, Laos, Thailand, and parts of China. In the Indian state of Maharashtra, at least 13 people who attended an outdoor event died from heat stroke on Sunday. And in the United States, a living laboratory for climate solutions is designed for and will be constructed on the 172-acre island off of Lower Manhattan. This is being led by Stony Brook University. Quick international. I read a great article from the AP about violence in schools in Brazil and how their approach is very different from our approach here in the United States. Primarily, they said that here in the US, our government is kind of at a stalemate between the Democrats and Republicans. It seems like no one is able to pass anything, whereas in Brazil, national, state, and local governments are taking quick action, and the public is really responding positively to the fact that their governments are really taking action. And it's a whole suite of action. So I encourage you to read that article because it isn't just one thing. They're doing tons of policies designed to lower the amount of violence happening in schools and other public places. There is still intense fighting happening in Sudan, and Ukraine is asking to join NATO. National news. Biden has announced his 2024 re-election bid. President Biden has signed an executive order establishing an Office of Environmental Justice within the White House. In Georgia, forest protectors are trying to stop the building of Atlanta's $90 million police training center dubbed Cop City. At least 42 activists have been arrested while protesting Cop City. They face state charges of domestic terrorism. And one activist was fatally shot by Atlanta police in January. 26-year-old forest activist Manuel Esteban Terran died after he was struck by at least 57 bullets in the police raid. Fox News settled a lawsuit with Dominion for $787 million around Dominion's defamation lawsuit. Fox claimed that Dominion voting machines were involved in rigging the 2020 election, and they have now settled that suit with Dominion. $787 million. Whew. New York Governor Hochul nominates Caitlin Halligan for New York's top court. Caitlin Halligan defended Chevron against Stephen Donziger, right? So Stephen Donziger is a human rights lawyer. He successfully sued Chevron on behalf of Ecuadorian Amazonian indigenous peoples for massively polluting their ancestral land with oil. And Caitlin Halligan, who defended Chevron, has been nominated by New York's governor. North Dakota governor signs a near total ban on abortion. And Tucker Carlson has left Fox News. In state news, JetBlue will no longer be flying flights from Worcester to New York City. State Democratic Party news, Steve Kerrigan has now taken over as a Massachusetts Democratic Party chair. He was someone that our governor Healy wanted, and he has just this week taken over. House lawmakers have begun sifting through 1,566 budget amendments, which apparently is more than usual. You should really listen to our video on amendments and what they mean and how often they happen and all of that. It's very interesting. And finally, Massachusetts Health Insurance have announced that they will stop providing free at-home COVID tests. Thank you for listening to Incorruptible Mass News on Tuesday, March 28th. Be sure to tune in to our analysis of state politics and interviews that we have with amazing people later in the week. Thank you so much.